Welcome, Wes Byrd with skulls.com to Esports Connected
Great.
podcast.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Great to have you. Great to have you. And great to have you as a member of the Esports Trade Association.
Mhm.
Yeah, a couple of questions right out of the gate. Why the Esports Trade Association and why esports?
Well, been in esports and gaming for a long time. Skulls in general. We actually started over 20 years ago, just as a group of guys playing LAN parties and doing creating a team and hosting servers. And I think before it was considered esports, we were doing this a long time ago. And I've hosted, uh, you know, I really can't count how many times I've hosted a LAN party at my house, and that kind of seemed to be where the Skulls LAN parties were kind of always held at my house, and we've had, up to 30 LAN, 30 guys hanging out and playing games on a weekend at the house. So yeah, been doing esports and gaming for a long time, and it just made sense over the years. A couple of years ago, we decided to turn Skulls into a brand and kind of bring it to the market as a brand name. We knew we had a great name, and I've had all the that name and domain names for all these years, and myself professionally, I've been in the web application and e-commerce development for all these years. And so it made sense to use Skulls and, as an e-commerce and a retail uh, brand name. And so we've set out to turn Skulls to be for esports like Nike is to, traditional sports. Just a name brand. So we have, you have merchandise that we create and amazing, I'm biased, but I would say the best jerseys, the best apparel, because one of the things that we set out to do is kind of really prove that in order to really kind of put ourselves at that bar, we need to make sure everything that we did was like the top, the top quality, the best. And so everything that we've done when it comes to jerseys, jackets, or shoes or chairs, this chair I'm sitting in, and others, we've made the best. And so that's how we're going to build our brand name, is to be synonymous with quality. And so we've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it's working out really well.
Tell me a little bit about that. Define the best. I would love to hear because there's there's seats I sit in and there's hats I wear and there's shirts I put on and
Mhm.
some I can't put on. And yeah, talk to me. Like how do you define that or with an example or
Yeah,
two?
well, sure. Yeah, this jersey that I'm wearing, it's this Skulls jersey. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's it's high quality, and just the little details. It's the attention to detail that makes things high quality. And so the on this jersey here, this double collar, it's actually made of a different material. The material is like a corded material, and it wraps all the way around. So this double collar actually is two pieces, two separate pieces, a lot overlapping each other all the way around, and having that as a separate piece. And the extra detail too on the sleeve, there's this cuff. It is an actual cuff. It is a separate piece of cloth. It matches the same cloth that's on the neck. It's this corded material that's on the sleeve, wrapped around the sleeve, and it's that attention to detail that makes things high and premium quality. Um, Other brands in the space make jerseys, and a lot of those don't don't give that attention to detail. It's just the sleeve will be kind of just a cloth folded under and sewn and then that's the end of the sleeve. Now we do some things like that on our on-demand product line and other things, but the premium pro line has those extra, extra details. And same goes for the chair. It's the craftsmanship, and that's a great word when it comes to quality. Craftsmanship, and in the details of the stitching, and the material that's used in the product versus something that's not very good quality. The stitching is just poor craftsmanship and or poor quality product. And so we don't skimp on the actual material. It's all the best possible material, and all of the details are kind of paid attention to.
So the pros obviously are buying this.
Hmm.
What are you doing for people entering the space? Is there a choice for quality like anything? Are these upgraded details?
Yeah, whenever I say our pro products, that doesn't mean it's just for the pros. In fact, we have high schools that purchase that product line. So it's the it's the same product that high schoolers can be wearing, that the professional teams are wearing. And sometimes for a pro team, we will go and do something special, different about the neck, away from our standard neckline. We do like a little soccer neck, or we'll do something special with the sleeve. Maybe we'll turn this into a raglan sleeve, which is doesn't have the seam right here, or something. So those are completely custom and configured however we might do a particular team. But that doesn't mean it's any less quality, and a lot of times the high schoolers get the exact same product, just printed with a different design.
Well, that's really interesting. I can remember my first uniform in sport was we had to go get a white sweatshirt, and we got a J from my school that we literally could safety pin on or sew.
Wow.
So things have come a long way. That was my first, and I was not, I didn't come from a household where we could sew on the J. I
Mhm.
can't remember if we taped it, Velcroed it, or pinned it. But the kids that actually had their J sewn was just amazing. So things have come a long way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, to someone who's a part of a team, wearing a jersey and being kind of makes it official. You're a part of a team.
Hmm.
I think it's fun for fans of pro teams, for the fans to get a jersey, because it makes them feel like they're part of the team that they're a fan of. And then when it comes to high schoolers, it's great to play video games as a team and play as a team. But whenever you outfit your high school team with jerseys, it's just like it's another level. The kids take ownership and they take pride in being a part of this team, and that's what being a team player is all about. I grew up playing basketball, and I learned a lot. As I learned how to be a teammate. I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to follow coach's instruction, and how to just to lay it out on the line for your team. And those are important lessons that you take outside of the game and into professional life. As you get a job and in the industry, you need to learn how to be a team player, and you need to learn how to follow your manager's instruction, and to do your part in that mission. And that's the same thing with a sport. And a lot of kids don't get that opportunity. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're not 6 foot tall to play basketball, or and esports really kind of offers that opportunity for students who might not otherwise be a part of a team. And then for those for those guys to be able to put on a jersey, it's important.
Yeah, I was just seeing that you had an interview with non-toxic gamers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Uh, the guys at Non Toxic Gamers are amazing, and I met them at DreamHack in 2019, and I love their mission. And I was actually thinking about starting up an organization myself about toxicity in gaming, and trying and doing, creating something that we could be an encouragement to the younger generation, to you know to stop being toxic, and having better team sportsmanship type of attitudes. And then I met the guys at Non Toxic Gamers at DreamHack. I was like, that's what I've been talking about doing, and that's what I wanted to do. And so, rather than creating another organization, I wanted to kind of help and promote their organization to do that. And so, yeah, I recently did a little recording that you can find on YouTube, uh, long talk with those guys about what they're doing, and they're actually going to high schools whenever they can, or doing Zooms like this, and having conversations with kids and young adults, um, about toxicity and what that is. The first thing you need to do in order to fix a problem is identify the problem. And so we need to identify the problem and point out, what that problem is. And you know toxic behavior is rampant in the gaming community, and kids grow up playing games behind a veil, and it gets really ugly sometimes, and mean. And just kind of really want to promote integrity in esports and gaming in general. And you can see that on our website if you kind of look at our history, skulls.com slash, or the, our story link at the top. It tells about kind of how we started, and it kind of dives into our, how important, integrity and family friendly play is important. And so those guys at Non Toxic Gamers, they do a good job of promoting that, and we support them however we can.
I like the strong position or the pillar where you're supporting, you're making a stand for integrity. Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, from day one, you can kind of see in our history on our website under the Our Story section. From 20 years back, we had kids in the room playing games at LAN parties, and so I wanted to make sure that we had rules. We spelled rules or with a Z, rules of war is what we call them, and it ensured that we treated each other well, and we were respectful of kids, other people, other parents, kids, and our own, and in the room. And so we've established those rules from day one, and it's kind of a surprised me over the years to see how toxic esports and gaming has gotten, especially the generation of kids who grew up just kind of behind monitors and not really interacting with people face to face, and then how that can just turn into real toxic and behavior, which is actually not very healthy at all for anyone, not them or the target of their
Yeah.
toxicity. And so we've set out as part of our mission when we created Skulls Incorporated, converted this into a brand, to do our part in helping the industry and the generation of kids and young adults to understand you know um, that there's a problem, and that that we should do our part in it. Even if it's just one person as yourself, you have to purpose in yourself to do the right thing. And if you do that, then that becomes contagious, and the people around you have respect. And some of them that are toxic might not, and it might make them more aggravated and target you. But if you can present yourself with integrity regardless, um, then I think everyone will benefit for sure.
Yeah, I was just reading that having integrity, it was something about integrity is when no one's looking.
And you
You
do the
know,
right thing. Yeah, you do the right thing.
yes.
No one's
So
looking.
being behind that veil,
Hmm.
um,
Right.
just some real basic disciplines
Mm-hmm.
as people that we need to encompass. It just reminds me of a story of my grandfather when I was young. He was telling me how important it was to have manners
Hmm.
at home while we were eating at dinner.
Hmm.
And I was really young. I would say just entering double digits, maybe 10. And he said, if you don't eat like you're at a restaurant at home, when you're at a restaurant, it's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
always pretend that you're at the restaurant,
Yeah. That's
you
true.
know? And I just remember him telling me that it was so valuable, but that reminds me of integrity is who we are when no one's looking.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah, we are, with that in mind, we really enjoy kind of working with the younger generation and kind of helping to be an influence in that however we can. Even though our product is just, it's stuff, it's really nice and cool stuff. We also, we just want to, anytime that we present ourselves, we want to do it in a professional way that is going to reflect that objective and that the purpose in you know kind of instilling that integrity and team sportsmanship and all of that inside of esports.
I don't know much about this, but maybe you do. And I'm just going to go on a whim and ask.
Okay.
Um, I know there's a lot of research that was put around picture day at school, and children performed better on picture day. And that's the research behind Dress for Success.
Hmm. Nice.
Isn't that interesting that,
Hmm.
you know, picture day is a day that's special? I wonder what kind of research is around dressing,
Hmm.
for game day. Do kids do better those days because they're special days? And then dressing in, I remember being very disempowered, safety pinning my
Hmm.
high school logo onto my sweater, or it was a sweatshirt,
Right.
to the kids that actually had it stitched,
Hmm.
to, oh my gosh, what you're talking about. This is fine garments
Hmm.
or chairs we're sitting in. Any research around that?
Oh, I'm sure there is. We've been working with some researchers at Georgia Tech around some education in esports, and it's really awesome doing that through NASEF and GSEF. GSEF is the Georgia Scholastic Esports Foundation, which I founded with Todd Harris, and then NASEF is like the parent affiliate or the federation who affiliates states, um, and uh, that organization is tons of research built into that around education. And so a lot of the research is around psychology, and there's a ton of psychology around that idea of putting on a uniform. When you put on a uniform and you're a part of a team with that uniform, absolutely it has an impact. It has an impact uh, on how well you play, or how serious you are about being a part of that. It gives you that feeling of being a part and being a part of that team. And I know for yourself in that particular thing where you had to pin on your deal and other people had, there was a psychological impact of that, positive and or negative, and either way you learned something. You learned something from that experience. But I think the intent was for the team to for your team to look alike and to have uniform and to get that feeling. But it might have had the opposite effect for yourself when you had to like pin this thing on and other people had theirs sewn on. And so the quality of the product that is on the kids makes a difference and makes them feel better about being a part of the team. And so just taking an esports team and going to the store and buying some t-shirts and doing a little iron on for the team is definitely going to have a different effect than if the team is outfitted with the same kind of jerseys. They have a number, they're walking around in the school and they're part of a team. You want them to be, to feel like, they're part of the, a starter on the football team type of thing, and that's it's a good feeling. Kids respond to that, and it is a positive, has a positive effect. I'm not a researcher. I don't have the numbers and the details, but I'm sure that there's a lot around that.
For sure. I mean, just going to the game, a game,
Mm-hmm.
being part of is so great. And it leads me to you know, this image I get is these rocks where there's this flower that comes out, and like the old thing used to be like, oh, my kid, he's in the basement, he's alone, he's not outside. And it's like, no, he's not. He's in community. Or she, they found each other. They're this flower coming out of these rocks. These children were all looking for the same thing, just to be in community, to be accepted, to connect.
Right.
And it has been really enlightening for so many people since COVID. I'd love to talk about, what's happened with you guys since COVID. And it has been such an opportunity for esports, and understanding recreational sports and entertainment digitally.
Yeah, I mean, COVID definitely, while a lot of people the perception might be that, esports was COVID or pandemic proof or something, that there's some truth to that and there's not. I mean, I think esports pivoted more quickly and a lot, and thrived in a way, digitally, in through the pandemic. But a lot of harm also came into that when it comes to in person, because that's kind of where esports was really kind of coming into its glory, was in person events, filling up stadiums and having these big events and like
Yeah.
conferences like DreamHack and PAC. They were just blowing up and doing really well, and all of those things had to come to a halt. Our 2020 plan at the beginning of the year was, all right, we're gonna have a booth at every one of these events. We're gonna go to PAX, we're gonna go to DreamHack, we're gonna have a booth, we're gonna present our brand, let people buy it, touch it, feel it, and interact with us in person. And that was kind of the business plan. But that was completely blown out of the water, with the pandemic and all those events shutting down. Um, and so, like all the other esports businesses, though, we pivoted and we were like, all right, well, let's put um, our focus in developing relationships with organizations and businesses and colleges and high schools, and do that remotely. And that's, which is another great reason why the trade association was a choice to go with, because all right, well, we can't meet in person to meet these people in a big event, but through esports trade association and other organizations like that, we can build a relationship with our peers and get through this together. And That's definitely kind of was where we shifted. And in 2020, as a result of that shift, I would say maybe that worked out even better, for skulls than perhaps going, into in-person events and shaking people's hands, and stuff. It's hard to tell which one worked out better, but it definitely allowed us to focus and put all of our energy into developing those relationships and making partnerships, and we've been lining up a lot of
How can that not be for the better?
them.
And that's literally what this podcast is about, simply being connected. And yeah, I was just at a meeting last night, and we were talking, there was somebody on a Zoom, and clearly she just needed to restart her computer.
Mhm.
And while we waited for her, we were talking about, just taking a pause and restarting our, it's like the whole world had to restart.
Mhm.
And there are some goodness, there's things, obviously there's always a silver lining.
Mhm.
And it really has been a great way to come together. And I believe we're going to proceed forward stronger. I mean, boy, I think our whole world has reset.
Mhm. Absolutely. I know it's affected a lot of people, and personally, to have had a personal effect with family or friends or other people who've been affected by this pandemic, and it affects us all. And it's been really sad, but you're right. Uh, Beyond each trial is is a is an opportunity, and to, if nothing else, to learn and to grow yourself, as well as to be a positive influence around for those around you, and to band together is always is a great opportunity, to be a team. Hey, let's be a team. You and I, let's be a team. Let's take
That's
on.
right. And that was the value statement, and is for the Esports Trade Association. My morning meditation is, I must share, because I know for me to be a good teammate, I have to be right with myself.
Mhm.
And I heard the greatest quote this morning, from John Maxwell, uh, just video of the day. And he said, I'm two things. I'm either up or getting up,
Hmm.
and you're never going to find me down.
Hmm.
And I just thought that was so great. And that's what we are. We're getting up.
Mhm. Yeah.
We're not down. We're pivoting.
Yeah. You might get knocked down,
Right.
but getting up is the thing. Just got to keep getting up, and it's just as important to get up as it is. I should say it is. It's just as important to help someone else get up as it is get up yourself. You know, reach out a hand and help people get up, and get back on the field and be a part of this team so we can win this game. That's kind of what we need to do as peers in this business, in this group, as well as just humans. Just in a human race in general.
A reset that we didn't ask for and didn't want,
Hmm.
that we got, and here we are.
Hmm.
And we're very fortunate to have you as a leader, with such a powerful brand that's gaining so much momentum in the space. And you know, what's next for you guys? What are you looking at for 2021?
Yeah, 2021 roadmap. We've got a lot coming around, and we are kind of betting on the some sort of normalcy kind of coming back. We are betting on that, at least by the end of this year, fourth quarter, that we have, uh, you know, in person venues and events kind of coming back around. And so we definitely have on the horizon and on the target agenda to be, uh, be there when you're there. If you're there, we want to be there. And so, we'll be there showing our gear and our partners, gear of our partners. And we have some pro teams that we're working with, and we have some large venue spaces that we're working with, and it's going to be an exciting year. We have already this month we have probably four press releases kind of just waiting to happen, and more each week. It's kind of crazy, and so it's a good time to kind of be picking up speed, and that's what we're doing. We're I think we're not quite over the hump, but we're really close. I think it's going to start. We're going to be start going, you know, downhill and picking up speed fast uh, throughout the rest of this quarter and next quarter, and then we're going to hit a good plateau um, at full speed, probably into third quarter, and so that's kind of where we're planning. And fourth quarter this year is going to be fun. We want to, at the very least, if nothing else, uh, we want to show up at DreamHack in Atlanta.
Yes, your anniversary, right?
That's right. Yeah, second anniversary of our show, our kind of launch. We started a couple years. Actually, we're close to 2 years now in our business anniversary. But I would call DreamHack in 2019 kind of our big launch day. We showed up and just kind of surprised everyone. Who are these guys? What's going on here? What's this Skulls thing? And it was received really well, and it's taken off like crazy. And it's we've got a really cool brand. It's neat. It's attractive. It's not abstract, and people can and in the gaming community can really kind of latch on to Skulls because that's kind of cool. But in addition to being cool, we have set a standard for quality and a purpose, and with those three combinations, cool, quality, and purpose, it's kind of an easy win.
Well said. This isn't my first rodeo and it's not my first industry, but I will say this is an amazing industry.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things I like most is regardless where you are in esports, what I've seen is that whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, the give back
Mm.
that, people are really aware in the space about giving back, um, community. I don't talk to anyone without them saying, what can I do to help? So this has been the most exciting interview. And I have been waiting for your breaking news that you're telling and sharing live this very minute. And you won't even tell me until the recording is on. So let's hear it.
Yeah, well, we're really excited. We recently launched Wildcard Gaming's website. One of the things that we do is e-commerce. That's just because that's my profession. So working in enterprise level e-commerce for many years, I kind of wanted to help bring e-commerce to esports in a bigger way, in a better way. And so we launched Wildcard Gaming's e-commerce site recently, and this week we'll be launching a high school association's Silver State Esports and the e-commerce site. And so I guess the big news is that's not broken yet. Press release coming soon is we signed Oxygen Gaming, which is another professional team, and we've got some amazing designs coming for them. And what's really cool is we're also helping them design some in-game gun skins for their team, which is really exciting. And so we're really excited to partner with Oxygen Gaming and outfit them, and we'll do like um, for them. We'll also launch the e-commerce site, and their website is actually going to be fully dedicated, solution managed and hosted, and developed and designed all by Skulls. And so it's a great kind of holistic, you know, just hand us that part of your business and we'll take care of it. You know, and so it's going to be really exciting to show off. We want to kind of flex our muscles and show off a really great e-commerce experience, kind of how it's intended to be.
So e-commerce has been a focus, which is an interesting twist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We, I personally am, my profession is e-commerce architect, which I've been doing on an enterprise level, developing, websites for big brands, making, hundreds of millions of dollars a year just in a single website. And so as I spent, the past 10 years kind of launching and developing these enterprise level e-commerce brands, I realized, well, that's what I want to do for Skulls. And so that was what we set out to do. But then as I started doing that, I realized how poorly the rest of the esports space has done in the e-commerce arena. And so one of the value adds that Skulls provides to our partners is, my history and expertise in the e-commerce space. And so a lot of these partnerships that we're working at now have an e-commerce component built in. So not only are we just kind of doing skulls.com, but we've recently launched Wildcard Gaming, a professional esports team. Their shop.wildcard.gg, and on that, yeah, we're doing all the merch. We did designs for the pro kits and all the jerseys and everything, but we're also doing shirts, hats, masks, and all kinds of products for that team. And we want to kind of take that model and duplicate that many times. And this weekend we'll launch Silver State Esports. That's a high school organization. They have like 35 schools in Nevada, um, and that are all participate in esports. And so we're going to create a dedicated site for them that will have merch stores for each of the schools that participate. And so you know it's a great way to kind of to allow them to have their own brand instead of a school going to skulls.com to buy their jerseys. They'll go to Silver State Esports branded site, and on that site will only be the schools that are associated with uh, that particular organization. And so it's a great way for our partner Silver State Esports to promote their brand, instead of sending people to skulls.com. At the same time, it's a fully hosted and managed solution by Skulls. So we host the website, we design the website, we develop all the products for the website, and so it can be like a hands off full uh, full solution for either a pro team or an organization that has multiple teams. And we have quite a few of those in the works right now. So we've already launched Wildcard Gaming. We're going to launch this week. We're going to launch Silver State Esports, and then we have two more sites launching, with actually three more after that in the works. So it's pretty crazy right now.
That's really interesting. Is that something that you wouldn't have done had you stuck to your 2020 business plan? Is that an example of pivoting?
Yeah, that's a perfect example of pivoting, because right now, all these spaces and venues and teams, they were accustomed to selling products at big events or in
Right,
spaces. And, I, I got on the e-commerce development train, 10 years ago because I knew, well, e-commerce is going to be where everything moved to. So
right.
I jumped from developing custom web applications to e-commerce on an enterprise scale, because of that. And COVID and the pandemic is just proof that that's even more important now than it was before. So, you know launching in these particular e-commerce solutions helps everyone involved. It helps the team and the brand. It helps the organizations, and it helps the customers, be able to have a place that they can trust and go and buy, without, because they can't get out and do it otherwise.
That's right. We go full circle from a sweatshirt and a letter to a white label solution for these,
Right.
communities.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we, if you have an organization or a company or a pro team, and you kind of want, and you're looking for an e-commerce solution to kind of, to work in some apparel or products or whatever, look, I can definitely, Skulls can definitely help in that area.
Well, that is great to know. It's been great having you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Right on. We'll see you at the next member coffee.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be sure and wear my Deadly Coffee T-shirt, which you can get on skulls.com.
I am really excited. I am really excited. I feel like we should offer those to members. Maybe we should talk. Maybe we should talk after the show.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll meet you in the green room.
All right.